we like public value, this local variable within my class. We like public value to be known to people who wants to inspect. You know what is the value of public value inside anything that's called my class? If you do this, all right, let's run it in C and in C++, Java, those very strongly typed object-oriented programming languages. There is strict enforcement. You can put them, you can hide them, you can protect them, you can prevent programmatic access even by yourself from another module, library, code, whatnot. You can do all those fanciful protection mechanism, but it comes at a price, because it also makes the program rather hard to read in a casual manner. So it is quite a trade-off in a way that may not be very productive or constructive even. And Python sort of deals away with that, doesn't implement that. So now what happens? We have defined my class, which is a valid class, and it is defined. So Python didn't say, I don't know what you're talking about. It didn't say name error, right? And earlier on, we learned that we can say, what is this thing called public value? Yeah, what is this container inside this template, this cookie cutter called template? Is hanging on it a container, and it's got a permanent value. And what's this value? So you can access it, and it comes back 999. That's okay. That's okay. But by the same token, if the designer of my class had labeled another variable called _C, okay, in C++, Java, it would have been prevented. No, cannot. Yeah, because we'll have certain protection mechanism there to make it private, not accessible. But in Python, you can actually see it even when yourself, when you created my class, you had the intention not to show. Not to be shown to other programmers. You had this intention. This C is supposed to be private to your my class calculation. You don't want to be expose it to other programmers, right? But you do want public value to show to other programmers. It's okay. In fact, you want to. So in Python, you are unable to prevent people from peeping in. So we have to go on a more cooperative basis. And that is to say, suppose you have written my class, and I run this, I use your my class, and I say, can I look at your my class _C? I can. But wait, I noticed that the programmer who designed my class had called this C _C. So it warns me, it tells me, oh, okay, I think the intention of me using my class correctly is to not to care about the C variable. That's why the original programmer, that is you, called it _C rather than C itself. You get what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So by using the underscore carefully, according to convention in Python, we are transmitting, this signal, programmer to programmer. You know what? Can you not look at my C constant here, the 1, 2, 3 here? It's not meant for you. We are transmitting that communication just by the underscore alone. All right. Now, there is also this case of __. Okay. Now, because underscore is a valid character, and it is allowed to start a variable name. So __, anything can always be recognized by Python. So there's no error here, right? And we can actually say, what is your my class dot __, no way. Let me see, trace back, no way. Has no attribute, no way. Yep, you see, it is not allowed to be called, because when we look at what are all the names inside my class, something goes wrong after a few executions here. Let me just fix it again. Okay, finally. All right. So the underscore underscore no way is really problematic as we saw because it starts to interfere with the way Python deals with the set of functions associated with my class. As you can see here, we never define dict underscore underscore dot underscore underscore dir and so on and so forth. We never define all these values and functions. We did define underscore c. We did define public value, right? So they are there. And by the way, I used a very, very crucial function called dir. Pick it up, remember it. Very, very helpful for us to inspect the associated functions with class, objects, values, and variables. So here, notice all these functions. We never define them. They are automatically defined by Python whenever we define a class. So it is basically Python's way of having system functions attached to anything, whether it's module, function, object, class, and all that. So the double underscore convention is internally used by Python. The moment we step into internals of Python, we have a tendency to make things blow up. Like, just now we saw my class didn't behave properly. It sometimes does this, sometimes does that, and so on and so forth, depending on inherited situations and the history of executions and so on. So not safe, not sound, not encouraged. Definitely don't do this. All right, then definitely don't do this unless you really know how to mess around with Python's internal processing. There are times when we actually do that, but that's for real, at really advanced, programming that makes Python looks at itself, that kind of thing. We're not into that for now. So in general programming, whatever you do, it can be very advanced visualization, face recognition, whatnot. There is no need for you to define your variables or functions with double underscore. All right, so never do that. The most that you may come to be exposed to, even for advanced programming, is the use of single underscore. So please take note of that. Very crucial. And even for single underscore, it is highly encouraged that you avoid using it unless you know exactly what you're doing. All right. So it is always possible to name things in the usual manner, the prim and proper manner, the spellable manner, right? And make documentations like that. And because we rely on fellow programmers to share the common convention, so they will read the code and say, well, not to be used by callers, fine, I won't touch that, because you want to use the code in a proper manner anyway. So why do you actually go against the comments and the advice given earlier, right? So we don't do that. Okay, good. So these are basically the good programming variable naming convention. And also there's one silent convention that I use. I spelled my class with capital letters, capital M and capital C, right? So the word boundary is also camel case, but this camel case is capital C camel case. So note my class is called camel case, is in camel case, meaning that the first letter is capitalized, not small case. So this basically gives you a good overview of how you should be actually naming your variable names. If you follow this, your code tends to be more maintainable, more useful, and you might even build a name for yourself, right? By having a lot of codes donated to public and allowing people to take advantage of your contributions to build on top of your codes. So here is the end of this particular section on variable naming. If you have further questions or discussions, you'd like to give some further examples or challenge some of these ideas and what I'd love to hear from you, just put in the comment there and YouTube will give me a tinkle to say, someone talked about something, and I will just dig in and have a look what you have said.